So today we're going to look at zero and negative exponents and the division property. Zero and negative exponents and the division property. Make sure that you have your date and title written. Anything to the zero power or to the power of zero is 1. It doesn't matter what it is. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. I don't know how many times last year I got an answer other than 1. Okay, there's no other possibility. Anything to the 0 power is 1. And then we cannot have negative exponents. So you cannot have negative exponents. And I will show you how to get rid of them. Okay, so anything to the 0 power is 1, and you cannot have negative exponents. Two big things you need to know. So if I give you a to the 0 power, what is my answer? 1. Good. If I give you 3x to the 0 power, what is my answer? 1. If I give you 5,000 xy to the 6th to the 0 power, what is the answer? Okay. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Someone will not listen to me because we know we're good at that and we'll get this wrong. And I guarantee you this will be on your quiz. This will be on your test. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay. If you have a negative exponent, so for instance, if I have x to the negative 2, in order to get rid of that negative exponent, we are going to make it a fraction and drop it to the bottom. So it becomes 1 over x squared, and that exponent becomes positive. Yes, Micah?
Doesn't a negative exponent make it into a fraction? Like, it's the opposite of an exponent, so like, let's say 9 to the 9 negative squared, it would be like 0.00 something or whatever.
So you're making it a fraction. You're doing 1 over whatever that was. Now, if our negative exponent is already in the denominator, so for instance, I have 1 over x to the negative 3, in order to make that one positive, it's going to flip to the top and become x to the 3rd. And technically, that's still over 1. Do you need to write it? No. If you write it, is it wrong? No. Okay, but if it's a negative exponent, it changes location. So it either goes from the numerator to the denominator or vice versa. Okay. You are going to get rid of your negative exponent before you do anything else. Okay, don't simplify anything until you get rid of your negative exponent. So I'm going to give you a few problems that I want you to try. You can do it with your group if you'd like to. The only exception to the rule that I just said about getting rid of your negative exponents might be number 7. It might be easier to simplify something first. So take the next couple minutes either with your group or by yourself and see how far you can get. See if you can get through some of these problems. So for number 1, the negative exponent would drop it to the bottom, giving you 1 over 2 squared, which is 1/4. You need to reduce all the way. You should not have a decimal. You need to leave it in fraction form. Number 2, negative 2 to the 0 power is? Oh, good. Number 3, if you drop this one to the bottom, you get 1 over 5 to the x. There's nothing else you can do. Number 4, if you are to flip this fraction, you end up with just a 3. Because it's really 3 over 1 to the first power. Well, 3 to the first is 3, 1 to the first is also, or is 1. Okay, so that one just flips. Number 5, all that flips is this 2 to the negative x. So your answer should be 5 over 2 to the x. So 2 to the x drops to the bottom, the 5 does not. You cannot multiply the 5 and the 2 together. Okay, because that negative x is not attached to the 5. Number 6, the negatives are only attached to the x's and the y's. So the 2 stays on top, x squared on the bottom, y to the 3rd on the bottom. Just what's attached to that negative drops. Now number 7 I said was the only one I probably wouldn't flip anything quite yet. And the reason for that is when you multiply exponents, which you're allowed to do, you end up with 2 to the positive 6. So you don't actually have to flip anything. And what is 2 to the 6th power? $64? Number 8, I probably would look at that one as well, but if you flipped it, you'll be okay. What are you allowed to do with these exponents? Add them. What is negative 2 plus 2? 0. 3 to the 0 power is 1. Okay, now you can do these in different steps. Sometimes it's easier to flip first. These last two, it was easier to simplify first and then flip, if needed. These ones you didn't need to flip. Questions on 0 and negative exponents? Yeah. Because there's not a negative exponent attached to the 2. So that one doesn't flip to the bottom. The negative exponent is only attached to the x and the y. Any other questions on those? Okay, division property. So yesterday we talked about power properties. This is the last one. The division property says a to the m over a to the n. Does anybody know what I can do with these exponents? A to the m over a to the n. You subtract them. So your answer is a to the m minus n. So you subtract the exponents. We're going to do some examples, but I'm going to do them with you. First thing you're going to look at is your coefficient, so the numbers out front. can I simplify 3 and 2? And you are not allowed to make it a decimal. No. So 3 and 2 are going to stay just where they're at. Okay? You do not move them from where they are currently at. So 3 is on top, 2 is on the bottom. Now we are subtracting exponents. There's a 3 here and there's a 1 here. 3 minus 1 is 2. The r's are going to stay on top because that's where more of the r's were initially. Okay, I can also look at it as I have 3 r's here and 1 r there. One of them cancels out, leaving me with 2. Yes?
Is it possible that you get more, like, of the exponent at the bottom and then you have to...
Yes. So, like this example. So I have 3b over 10b to the third. So first thing I'm going to look at is my coefficients. Can I simplify 3 and 10? No. Now I have b to the third and b to the first. 3 minus 1 is 2, but where are more of them located? In the denominator, so that's where it's going to stay. So 3 over 10b squared. Okay, why don't you try this one? So 10p to the fourth over 6p. So simplify the coefficients first if you can, and then deal with your exponents. Is there a number that goes into 10 and 6? 2, right? So 2 goes into 10 5 times, 2 goes into 6 3 times, so this is really a 5/3. And then for my exponents, I have a 4 minus 1, which is 3, and where are those going to stay? In the numerator. So you should have had 5p to the third over 3 as your final answer. Last problem. 14x to the fourth, y to the seventh, over 6x to the fifth, y to the fourth. I'm going to give you a second and see if you can come up with that answer as well. What number goes into 14 and 6? 2. So that would be 7 and 3. Now if I deal with my x's, I have 5 minus 4, which gives me 1. Where is that x going to stay? On the bottom. Here I have 7 minus 4, which gives me 3. Those y's are going to remain on the top. So you should have 7y to the third over 3x as your final answer. Questions, comments, concerns? We're okay? All right.